Oh, I think the key things is just don't overthink the first part. Go quick, make sure that you're able to breathe, but don't think about the second part until you're done with the first part. And then on the second part, the key thing is stay nice and composed for as long as you possibly can.
We are underway, 124.6 unofficially. That was the time that was put up by Jonakoski in this part in the prior heat.
I think most of these guys are going to be going unbroken through. They saw what the first heat did. They know what is needed to be able to win. Adrian is going fast down. It looks like he's even pulling that bar down to the ground.
Adrian Moonweiler off to a frantic pace here as he is neck and neck with Chandler Smith, the two of them through 23 of the 50 total reps here.
I do like this event for Chandler Smith and to his skill set as an athlete. This is a grunt work style, and he is just kind of a grunt work athlete when you talk about his athletic background in wrestling and just the overall things that he's good at in the arena of CrossFit. So,
and if you're wondering why we're not going to Chandler Smith, we're having some technical difficulties with his feed, but he is still working, and his score on the left-hand part of your screen right now, Chandler Smith and Adrian Moonweiler, rep for rep for the lead. Noah Olson fighting for third place right now.
Uh-oh.
Oop.
And now a break from Moonweiler, and that might open the door for Chandler Smith. He is a rep ahead, according to our scoreboard, and Chandler Smith, depending on when he finished, it's going to be close. 124.20 unofficially. Now, if that stands, Chandler Smith will get the event win here in Part 2A.
See, that's how you do it. You just turn your feet off and hope your judge keeps hitting the button.
All these scores need to be confirmed with the judges on site. That's why they are unofficial right now. But Chandler Smith, again, looks like he's going to squeak in ahead of Jonakoski. They were basically neck and neck, separated by 0.4 seconds unofficially. So that's how close this is. We'll wait for confirmation, but Chandler Smith could be in the running for an event win here.
Now, obviously, we didn't get to see how it looked for Chandler Smith, but we did get to see how it looked for Adrian Moonweiler, and for at least 40 reps, it looked like he was going to run away with it when he's kind of side by side with Chandler Smith. But those last few did not look pretty for Adrian Moonweiler.
These are your heat results for the second heat. Chandler Smith will take the heat. Now it remains to be seen if that time is official, if it holds up, if he will win the event. Adrian Moonweiler, because of that break, will take second. Noah Olson, he finishes third, followed by Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson and Pat Vellner, as all of them are separated by just 9 seconds. And now the break as we get ready for the last athlete standing portion. Minute 5, that begins, and they'll start with 11 reps.
That would have been fun to see them next to each other. Like, we obviously see them next to each other, but Björkvin, Patrick, and Noah, they're all separated by like that 1 second. That's crazy.
I think if we were in a normal competition setting, this one probably would have come down to the sprint across the finish line.
Exactly. Fly through.
So Adrian Moonweiler started with a pretty frantic pace to begin with. Wasn't able to hold on, but did enough to get himself into second place in the heat, maybe third place in the event, depending on where this shakes out.
I said he started very fast, but it was the last couple of reps, and I don't know if that's what we'll see in here, but that he started to drop, and he started to drop, he did 2 or 3, and you can see him, he's starting to stumble around. That lockout's getting a little harder to do, so my concern for him is, did you go too hard in Part A to really navigate Part B very well?
Yeah, you can see he was a little upset.
I was just about to say, that was like a little scary to see there in the end. I know that you're going to have time to recover, but it's not a very heavy bar, and he was sticking deep on those final reps. But it could be because he was just going for that first place, and he knew that he was so close. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what kind of strategy he's going to have on the snatches in the next part.
Yeah, and that next part begins at the 5-minute mark, so we're keeping an eye on that as the athletes recover and we get set for that second part of this event. Still remains to be seen who won because it was so close between those last 2 heats, but Chandler Smith and Jonakoski. are the two guys who are vying for that event win. We have 10 seconds to go now before we start the second part of Event 2 presented by Reebok. This is the last person standing format, and we start with 11 power snatches that need to be completed in this first minute window. Even though that these athletes aren't in the same location, Jacob Hepner, in basically the middle of your screen, has found a way to talk trash. He took to Instagram and talked a little trash to Olsen and to Noah Olsen. I think maybe Chandler Smith as well, who's throwing down the gauntlet with them. So, hey, we got creative and the athletes are getting creative as far as their smack talk is concerned. So Noah Olsen is in, and basically all the other athletes are done as well with these first 11 reps.
Yeah, it's nice to get it done quick so you get a break, but it's smart to break it up and rather take a little bit your time so that you can just continue to recover and catch your breath here.
Minute 6, 12 reps need to be completed. So 23 is the mark that they're looking to hit in the score box in the upper part of your screen next to their names.
Adrian Munweiler on the left. The thing I'm looking for is what that bar looks like after he ripped through that set of 50 to start part A. Doesn't look terrible. It kind of looks a little bit more labor than you would see Cole Sager on the right. You know, Cole always does a good job of trying to be efficient in his movement and what he does. I would say he's probably pulling a little early with the arms, and that's not a movement I would say that would last too long. Although if you have arms like Cole Sager, maybe it's not an issue.
Yeah, and you can tell Adrian, he's now popping it into the hip a little bit more. He's dropping a little bit more underneath the bar. So he's trying to reserve a little bit more energy on this part.
Getting set now for minute 7. We bump the reps up to 13, 36 now the number that they need to hit, and everybody's still alive here in the second and final heat. Top score belongs to Ben Smith. He got through 110 total reps.
And two athletes that I think always do well with light barbell cycling, particular with the snatch itself, is BKG on the right. You know, he has great technique. He's so strong in the snatch movement itself. And then Noah, again, his barbell cycling with a light bar for a power snatch is one of his strong suits as well. But I like BKG's technique when it comes to this movement specifically.
And Jacob Hepner was the first man done.
Like that lockout, like that strong lockout where you're not pressing through, you're not sloppy on the catch. Like all of that is going to pay off once you get into those final minutes. So I think it's going to be very exciting to see how far BKG is going to go on this.
All 9 athletes still alive here as we move into minute number 8. 14 repetitions they need to complete, and they need to hit the 50 rep mark. Jacob Hepner in the middle of your screen on the top. He was the first man done with those 13 reps in the last minute.
On the left side, I'm starting to get a little bit worried about Will Morad. He's hunching over quite a bit. In fact, and when he finished part A, those 50 snatches for time before we even got to this format, he was pretty laid out on the floor and kind of keeling over. So I don't know how his fatigue level is going to sustain through the rest of this EMOM format.
Yeah, and you can tell he's starting to press out quite a lot towards the end of the snatch as well. He catches and presses out in the end.
Almost that stark difference that we were talking about earlier with BKG is catching that nice, clean lockout. It just saves so much more time and energy and in fatiguing when you do it like BKG was.
Morad's going to get in, but with just about 9 seconds to rest. So everybody's still alive here as we move to minute 9. Now we're up to 15 in this next minute, so 65 the score they need to hit.
I don't want to leave out the young gun Panchek over here on the side is what I always like that he does. He's a pretty fearless competitor. He doesn't have necessarily, or at least develop the skill sets to match with some of these more veterans, but that guy does not shy away from going for it in these events.
Jacob Hepner still on a really good pace here as he looks to be the first man done with these 15 reps. And he has just hit that 65 mark, so he is done. And remember, Chandler Smith is still competing. We are having technical difficulties with his feed, but he is still there, and he is still alive.
Those Panchik brothers, it's so much fun to watch. There's something in the genes there. They just move well. They're efficient. Like, yeah, it's fun to see the young brothers coming up right now.
Will Morad right up against it. I'm not sure if he made it or not, but it looks like he did because he's got to get back to work. But Morad, as we get to minute number 10, 16 reps, 81 is the number they need to hit. Jacob Hepner continuing to move at a great pace here.
It's a good pace, but it's not the best technique in the world. I mean, if you look how much his shoulders drop below his hips at the bottom. But the thing with Hepner and the way he trains typically is that guy does so much high volume, mindless, repetitive training that an event like this really does play to his strengths in terms of the way he trains.
81's the number he's got to hit, and it looks like he's going to get there with plenty of time to spare. About 18 seconds, so Jacob Hepner looking strong here as he's through 81. Ben Smith, the score to beat rather, at 110 total reps, so Jacob Hepner might be threatening that as Cole Sager and Will Morad are trying to get in underneath that cap, and I'm not sure they made it. Didn't look like Morad did as he took a seat. Bjorgvin Gudmundsson, he's still alive as we are in minute
very strong.
11. 17 reps, 98 is now the number they need to hit.
And we're talking just pure technique in barbell cycling. This is a stark difference to what we saw from Hepner, but Hepner's just getting the work done. It's not a beauty contest at this point in time, but the sustainability, I think, it more plays to Gudmundsson's favor than it may Hepner. But again, Hepner in the middle part of your screen in the top row is just not stopping.
He is just one of those workhorses. He will just go. And like you said, some of those workouts that you see him post and what he's doing, that would absolutely crush me, some of those high reps and volume that he does. So this is going to be working in his strength for sure.
Pat Vellner is at that 98 mark, as is Jacob Hepner. Bjorgvin Gudmundsson looks like he's going to get in with not a ton of time to spare.
Oof.
But now more athletes bowing out. We'll have to see who is still alive. Vellner is definitely one of them. Gudmundsson and Hepner still alive. Adrian Moonweiler is still alive as well.
I'll be honest, I am very surprised that Moonweiler's hung on this long, just how it looked like the end of Part A was.
But Chandler Smith did not make it through that last minute.
Looks like Olsen missed too.
So 18 reps they need to complete, and it's 116 mark they need to hit. And if Vellner gets himself another couple reps, he's going to be your event leader because 110 is the score to beat right now, and Pat Vellner has now tied that, and he has now exceeded it. 116, that's the mark. 3 to go for Vellner. Hepner has fallen off the pace. He's got 10 seconds to go. So Pat Vellner
is going to make it.
Makes it, and I don't know if Hepner did. Although Hepner continues to work, Vellner is still alive, and it looks like Pat Vellner might be the last athlete standing, and Vellner looking to win the event. He's already won the event. This is all gravy.
Somebody tell him to stop.
He has no idea. He's not going to know.
Somebody tackle that man.
I know Pat, he's probably be pissed that nobody told him that he already won and he had to keep going.
He's thinking right now, someone else might be on that same minute. I am not going to lose by a single rep. I'm going to dig for those extra reps right now.
Now let's keep this in mind because it feels like it was a while ago as Vellner's feed freezes there, but we're going to keep counting his reps. Sam Briggs did 211. 211 reps to win the event for the women. Now Pat Vellner continues to work. The mark he's got to hit is 135. If he wants to continue to work, there's no need to, but Pat Vellner, wow.